Hey everyone, today we're checking out our lineup of Huawei accessories. These little gadgets are super handy for both businesses and homes. Norby, can you give us the lowdown on what they are?
Let's start with smart meters. Here we have the single-phase option, as well as smart meters designed for both single and three-phase systems. This particular meter we're looking at is for three-phase installations.
This is a very clever and smart device. We've also recorded a separate video about it. You can monitor export and import capabilities with it, as well as the properties on-site consumption. However, it can also be a source of errors, and sometimes we need to go back and forth to resolve issues.
Yes, it's crucial that it's properly connected. Otherwise, it will measure and display completely inaccurate data. Consequently, a battery system, for example, won't function correctly if the meter isn't properly installed.
To be honest, I would recommend this to every household and business because it enables more conscious energy management. Some of our customers, for instance, even in winter, switch off the gas and instead use locally generated electricity to power appliances like heating and cooling systems when the sun shines brighter. So it's a prime example of decarbonization.
Exactly. If there's no smart meter installed, it won't detect the household's consumption. It won't recognize if there's surplus energy that could be utilized.
Yes, and it visually displays the Fusion Solar Huawei application very nicely.
And actually, it also displays all the measured data on the screen. Of course, it's easier to check on the Fusion Solar application, but if someone has the need, they can also view it on the screen. It's a three-phase meter. By the way, there's no difference between the 100 amp and the 250 amp versions in the meter itself. The device is exactly the same. The difference lies in the breakers themselves. The 250 amp version is indeed quite large. It can be installed on supply cables larger than your thumb. The only difference in the 100 amp version is that the breakers are smaller.
A smaller diameter cable goes in.
Yes, and the lock itself is much smaller. It's roughly half the size of this large 250 amp one, but we can also open it up and see what it looks like.
They are also available in our web shop.
We always have plenty of these in stock.
This is essential for a battery system. What else is needed to make the system work?
For a three-phase battery-operated system, a smart meter is essential to have in the system. Now, whether it's 100 or 250 amperes, it doesn't really matter. Both are capable of functioning with it. When it comes to inverters above 10 kilowatts, there may be a need for various accessories, as they are not always included in the packaging. One such accessory is the dongle, of which there are two types. One of them is the Wi-Fi dongle, which is provided with inverters up to 10 kilowatts. The other one is the 4G dongle, where we can insert a SIM card, enabling continuous mobile data connection between the inverter and the management system.
There will be a new series from this?
Yes, as you said, the new type will be released soon. The 4G version will have a built-in Wi-Fi, so there will be no need to initially commission the inverter and then plug in the 4G dongle afterwards. This means we'll be able to connect directly to the built-in Wi-Fi of the 4G dongle and commission the entire inverter through it. This step will be much simpler. We can save time. So this is essential for the communication part. Additionally, for off-grid systems, if we want to implement partially off-grid, meaning we still want some level of power supply even in the event of a power outage, so there is a need to complement our solar panel system with the backup box. Its installation involves fitting it between the inverter and the grid connection point. This allows us to achieve the capability for the inverter to feed back power through it. Through this setup, the inverter is capable of feeding power back into the system, thereby allowing us to achieve grid isolation in the event of a power outage from the utility side, especially in a three-phase system. The backup box comprises 3 internal magnetic switches designed for this purpose. Once activated, these switches effectively transition our system into an off-grid mode. Consequently, we have the ability to draw power from a single phase directly to this circuit, ensuring continued operation even when disconnected from the main grid.
However, this is a critique and a development area to enable operation on all 3 phases. The development of this is already underway.
Yes, there are 2 types of backup boxes. One is compatible with single-phase inverters, and the other is compatible with 3-phase inverters. The similarity between them is that both can only feed back 2.5 kilowatts or slightly more on a single phase. However, a 3-phase version is also under development, which will be able to feed back power on all 3 phases in case of a power outage, either from the battery or DC power.
It will be the one we will most likely use the most.
Yes, in electrical wiring, this means that there's no need to rewire the existing network. The electricity generated by the inverter can be immediately utilized throughout the house on all 3 phases without requiring any rewiring.
Setting up a system like this usually requires 2 electricians and takes about 2 full working days.
Yes, if there's a battery, a backup box, a smart meter, and the inverter itself, It requires a lot of work to ensure everything is properly connected. Let's say if there's an additional issue that requires extra wiring, then it easily takes 2 days just to get all the wiring right. It could even take more than 2 days.
Yes, so it's important to plan accordingly. However, we do provide assistance and technical support if you purchase from us through wholesale. Of course, we also help residential customers, but that's a given. What else do we have?
Additionally, we have the other two types of meters, the 100 amp 3-phase meter and the single-phase meter. We can take a look at those as well, but essentially they're the same as the others. The difference is that with the single-phase meter, we don't have 3 locks like with the 3-phase meter. Instead, we have only 1 lock because it measures 1 phase. Moreover, for larger systems, alongside or instead of the dongle, we include a communication unit, the smart logger.
Now let's look at this. Let's open it up. This is no longer the residential size.
Yes, typically this is no longer at the residential scale. If it is, it's usually closer to around 50 kilowatt. Or if we have multiple inverters or multiple batteries connected to multiple inverters, then we tend to use this. Yes, they also provide factory cables with instructions. It includes an antenna for local connection to the logger. There's an Ethernet cable too, as the logger can only receive internet via cable. It also has its power supply, which needs to be connected to the network. And the logger itself, which looks like this. This is also very important to note that the previous devices, excluding the meter, such as the battery, inverter, and backup box, can be optionally placed outdoors, but this one can only be installed indoors. So it cannot be placed outdoors, it is an indoor device. There is no IP protection on it, water can penetrate it, so it is very important to place it indoors. The dongle, for example, can connect up to 10 inverters and communicate with them. However, the logger can communicate with up to 80 inverters, so it has a larger scalability. In terms of connected devices, the dongle can handle 10 connected devices, including the battery, which means 2 units are already accounted for in this case. If there is an inverter next to it, then 3 units are occupied. This is the 4th, so reaching the limit of 10 can happen quickly. The logger is good because we can connect many more things through it, making it a great choice for larger systems. Through this, we can actually manage all the inverters, batteries, and every device connected to it as a group. By this, I mean that if there are 10 inverters connected to it, we can set the same settings for all 10 inverters at once without having to go through the settings of each individual inverter separately. This way, we can save a lot of time.
Very smart. I like it. The optimizers are still to come. Let's see why we recommend it.
We have 2 types of optimizer which looks the same. There is no difference between them. The real difference is that one is a 450 watt and the other is a 600 watt. It's a function of the power input that you choose. If the panel is below 450 watts, then the 450 is enough. If it's below 600 watts but above 450, then obviously the 600 watt is used.
It's a new product in the range as there are already larger panels, which is why it's needed. And above that,
Above them, there are the 1100 and 1300 models. These are optimizers designed for 2 panels each, so they can regulate the operation of 2 panels at once, allowing us to create circuits. They are compatible with the 50 inverters we discussed earlier. They are more suitable for residential use, I would say.
Very good. We love these 2. We always have them in stock. I think we've tried to cover almost everything in Huawei's solar range. I hope it was a useful video. You can reach us at www.solarkit.eu and www.solarkit.eu. You can reach us everywhere, by phone, Viber, WhatsApp. We love to help you with technical guidance and support, and we hope to see more solar systems nationally and regionally. Thank you very much, Norby.
Thank you. Thanks, Marcy.